What's up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs. For this video we're going to look at the SOTA Street Fighter Round 1 RYU and all of his variants, including the preview and exclusive stuff. So first off, we have the player 1 right here, standard figure. That's the color variant. That's the Evil RYU color variant. Technically it's not a variant, I guess, but it still is. The Bloody 2-pack variant, the Psycho Power 2-pack variant, the previews variant. I guess you could call it a variant. It's a whole new mold though. And then we have the Evil RYU from the preview batch. These two have a different batch of accessories. These two have no accessories. These three all have the same. So we'll go based on that. These guys stand about 6 3/4 inches tall. The rest of them, which is all the same mold for the most part, stand about 6.5 inches tall. So these guys, these two over here, are a lot bulkier. The rest are all the same. We're going to start over here. We'll just look at the colors on these guys, but we're not going to actually go into any of them other than the differences. So we'll start with the player 1, get the rest of them out of the way. And then you'll know everything you can possibly know, not really, about SOTA RYU. I'm not going to go into the bootleg stuff because that could take days. So here's the standard player 1 RYU. He's got two different heads. He's got the standard face and then the yelling, bigger, bushier eyebrows face. Pretty cool sculpt work and paint work on those. The headband things are pretty soft. These just happen to be curled to the side, but they're not going to really get in the way of any posing. They are not bendable though. You can't make them hold a pose very easily. But there's that. He's got the two open hands, as you can see here, painted fingernails. Really nice overall paintwork. Of course, there's a little bit of run here and there, but still pretty good. And then he's got the two fist hands. And these three versions, these two and the main one, all have the same stuff. If you see this guy with purple or blue hands, it's probably a bootleg. That's all I'm going to get into that for now. And he also comes with his little duffel bag, which is pretty nicely made for an accessory. You've got the seams and the shading, and it's got a real cloth or a real rope. Okay, let's talk about the paint and everything. Now, the 2-pack version of this guy, which is just him and Sagat, both in player 1 colors, has a little bit less shading, might be a little bit glossier, and the standard release has a little bit of more shading and a little bit less glossy, but it's not an actual variant, okay? They just made it slightly differently because it was produced at a different time, so don't worry about that too much. Overall, the sculpt is really good. He shares the same sculpt as Ken, minus a couple differences, obviously, but that's not really important. The head looks pretty good. A lot of people complain that it didn't really look like RYU. I think it's okay. It's pretty good for me. He's one of my favorite characters, and I'm happy with it, so that's probably going to mean it's good enough for just about everybody else, aside from the people that really like to complain. The gi is a softer material, so it's not going to impede the articulation too much. His head is on a double ball peg, so he's got full range of motion, up and down, side to side. Really anything you want to do, you can do. He's got the ball disc shoulders, bicep swivel, single jointed elbow, wrist swivel because the hands are interchangeable, and a wrist pivot. He has the ab crunch, which does work. The gi bends a little bit. It bends enough for you to use it a little bit, not a whole lot, but it'll work. And he's got a waist twist, T-jointed ball disc hips, so forward and back, side to side, thigh swivel built in, double jointed knees, great range of motion. There's a swivel at the shin. This one's frozen. I can't show you, but there is a swivel in there. Then you've got the ankle pivot, the ankle rocker swivel, and the toe joint. So pretty much as much articulation as you could ever want on one of these guys. Really great paintwork and great sculpt work. That's the P1, player 1, white and red. Then you have the gray and blue, which has heavier shading and is my favorite color variant, even though player 1 is the best of the variants in the game. That is, this guy's the best, I think. So that's him. Everything's the same other than the colors. Same thing for the Evil RYU. Everything is the same other than the colors. There's nothing special about this figure if you're getting the legit one other than the paint app. Notice the red eyes and the black outfit. That's really the only difference. And of course the kanji on the back. Okay, so that's the standard round 1 figure. We also then have, where'd they go? The 2 different 2-pack ones, not counting the 2-pack of just the RYU and Sagat, because it's just a re-release technically. We have the Bloody 2-pack, which is the variant of the Sagat RYU 2-pack. There's a Sagat that matches this guy. I'll show you that in the Sagat review, but here's RYU. It's really the same figure as this one, except for the paint and except for the hand. So of course he's got the blood smudges on his chest and on his mouth. His hands are all bloodied up, little blood spots throughout his gi. It's all just paint. There's nothing special about it. And he does have the lightning hand with the shading up his arm, which is actually done really well. It looks good, and the hand is translucent blue, bluish purple. So that's pretty cool. So that's the Bloody 2-pack version, which got canceled pretty quickly. And then we have the Psycho Power RYU, Evil RYU, with the clear hand here, and then the same hand as the Bloody 2-pack. He doesn't have any of the shading. He does have the red eyes and the open mouth. The bootleg of this guy is a lot paler, has darker paint on the mouth, and different shade of purple. Although these tend to vary a little bit from figure to figure anyway, so just be careful. Just note that the regular single-carded RYU does not have any of the blue hands, okay? Okay, that's all we're going to get into that. He does have the kanji on the back. Okay, let's look at the preview RYU. This is the Player 1 style. This shares the same body as the Round 4 Akuma figure, so he's a lot bulkier, but still pretty good RYU. The head's a little bit different. Personally, I like the Player 1 or the Round 1 version better. Some people like this one. That's up to you. The gi is a little bit different, and like I said, he's a lot bulkier. He does come with 2 sets of hands. You have 2 fists and 2 open hands, which have holes in them. He doesn't have any use for these. The evil one does. I'll show you that in a second. He's a little bit darker skin tone. I think the video might be making him look a little olive colored, but he's not. The bootleg is really olive colored, but this one's not. It's just a little bit off. Closer in line with Akuma, really, but we'll show you that later. Everything else is just about the same. He's got the full gloves rather than just the straps like these 2 or these 3. So a little bit differences here and there in the design. A lot of them have this kind of problem going on where he's got all these smudges and stuff on him. That's just from the factory. Got this guy brand new and it came like that. I suppose I could probably fix it, but I haven't bothered at this point. So if you see that, don't freak out. It probably came like that from the factory. The eyes are painted really well on this guy. Note that if you're getting a bootleg one, they're not going to look like that. So that's the Player 1. He comes with his Whirlwind kick accessory that his foot goes into there. This kind of snaps onto his leg like this. Okay. The bootleg one is not nearly as clear as this, although it's one of the more clear ones of the energy effects, but this one's really nice and translucent. That's a good indicator that it's not a bootleg, if you're not sure. So that's it for the Player 1, or the standard. Of course, now we have the Evil RYU, which is the exact same figure, except for the paint app again. He's got the kanji on his back, soft things. Everything's the same again, other than the color. This one does not come with the Whirlwind kick. He has the 2 open hands. I didn't get them out, so these are just the Player 1 again. But that's what the peg hole is for. He's got the fireball accessory for the Evil RYU, and that pegs into the hand there. Again, it's nice and clear blue. You don't want it to look milky. If it looks milky, it's probably a bootleg. So there it is. So that does it for the SOTA Street Fighter RYU figure, the round 1 all the way through the previews. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about these figures in the comment section below. Stay tuned for the rest of the figure reviews and other customs and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.